Hello everybody, welcome back to Waffles RC. Still working on it. It's taking quite a while, but if you want something to look right, take your time on it. That's what I'm doing with this. So as you can see, the Zacklift is not on it. And that is for a particular reason. So the reason why the Zacklift is not on here is because of our fifth wheel hitch. This thing, as you can see, there's a new bar here. There's the locking mechanism in here. So all I did was took a link, added some length to it because I needed more length. And everybody knows when you buy steering servos off the internet, it comes with all these plastic pieces that just you never know what to do and you just need the steering horn. But now I know what to do with one of them. So put the bar in, it's connected down here, it's connected right here, and push it back. Now the hitch is unlocked. Push it back again, or push it the other way. Now the hitch is locked. And when the Zacklift is on here, this is accessible. Same with the wing nuts. So to take the Zacklift off, undo the wing nuts, and then we'll just do that. And now the Zacklift will come off. So what we're going to do in this video is finish up the Zacklift. Got to put doors, I guess I should grab it for you. So I'm going to put doors on these cabinets here, fill it with sheet metal so that way the electrical stuff can all sit in there and not get in the way of anything. And then for the outriggers, we have to make the legs. And then I also have to make some for the front. And this thing is heavy. As it sits right now, it's 10 pounds. So imagine what the rest of it weighs, which if you've watched to the end of a few of these videos, you know how much it weighs. So let's just get straight to it. Get the Zacklift on here, get everything measured up. Oh, before I start, Troy, thank you very much. I have all the tire inserts in every single one of the tires. So this is now essentially where it's going to sit. I didn't want to do the outriggers when the tires were still mostly flat. Now we have it where it's going to sit. Now we know where to put our outriggers for the Zacklift. So Troy made me these tire inserts for the whole truck plus some extras. If you guys want to email him, I'll put his email right here. You can email him, ask him questions. Maybe he'll be able to make you something because he has a 3D printer and he's very good as long as you give him the correct measurements. So let's get to work now. Thank you again, Troy. All right, I don't know if you guys can see in there, but I have a sheet of metal down in here for everything to sit on. Can still get to that bolt, most importantly, and a door. Not the fanciest thing. I have to figure out a locking mechanism. Probably do the magnets like everybody tells me to do every time I do any door. As you can see, the other one opened. So there's one back here as well. And once it all gets painted, it'll look pretty dang good. Next thing on the list of things to do to get this finished up before we can plug everything in and tow our first vehicle with it. Making a lot of noise. Gonna do the outriggers on the back and outriggers on the front. Haven't figured out those. I have figured out these, I just have to do it. So I'm gonna get the truck up here and do some guesstimations, make some outriggers so this thing can stand on its own while the truck drives out of it. Lock works. Yes. So like I said last week, I'm just going to use this solid bar that fits inside of here and have it go up, and I'll drill a hole, one hole through the outrigger, another hole through here, then I'll drop it down to where it touches the ground and have another hole in this rod to go through the same hole on here, basically locking it into place. That's the goal. We'll see what happens. I haven't thought this all the way through, but in my head it works. So, let's see. Well, that's not pretty. Okay, here's the outrigger down, and here's the outrigger down. As you can see, I moved it far enough out so the truck can still come in and out of here. Then, when we're all done, pull that bolt. And I have some weld in the way, but basically it sits there. I have some work to do still, so, you know, give me a little break. Could either do that or... no. It's not sitting on top of the arm. Got one on the other side. Same back there. Let's take it off the truck and have it sitting on its own 4 legs. Okay, there it is, sitting on its own legs. Still quite a lot of work to do, just gonna be honest, because not exactly level, but I did it on the truck, which also is not exactly level, so we'll see how it all works. But for now, I'm going to get to wiring all of this business up so that it can work on its own. All the controllers in it, batteries, or battery, and see if I can't get it to work on that really cheap controller that I got. Okay, well, after trying to read these very good instructions, which I'm sure are better read in that language rather than English, finally figured it out. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. This plus the receiver together, I think, was like $25. So the fact that the instructions aren't very good, you kind of know that going into it. So don't be surprised. And I just wanted a cheap one because I just wanted to control the Zacklift. But on that note, it works. Okay, so ignore this mess because I had to test everything and make sure it worked. On our super fancy controller, if we go what it would think is forward, we can lift the boom. And for the turning of what it thinks, we have the wheel lift. And we just bring it all down. yeah, I think we're going to be good on height. Oh. There's some fine tuning to do. There was a bolt that was getting caught there. But there we are. A Zacklift. And as you see, there's no truck connected to it. So I just did a small battery because it's not going to use a lot. Small BEC, and I have this. And these are winch controllers for the rams, the wheel lift, and the main boom. You just need a winch controller to reverse the polarities for up and down because they're just regular servos. If you go with these rams, which I'll put a link in down in the description for the rams and for these real cheap winch controllers, you need the winch controller to be able to get the up and down. And that is how we can do all that. Oh, I'm so happy now that I can finally read that thing. So the rest of this will take some more fine tuning, like you saw, like the bolt getting caught. Still quite a bit of work to do, but it functions. So I want to get it on the truck and see what it looks like working on the truck. So I'll just pack all this stuff in here and see what happens. Just for fun. I don't have the hooks on it yet, but let's just see. Yeah, I think I'll have plenty of height to be able to tow stuff with it. All right, so the plan with this piece so I'm going to put hooks on it so it can go around the axles of other RCs and not the tires, because these things are all full-time all-wheel drive, essentially. So if you have the back ones off, they still turn. With a real Zacklift, pulling big rigs and other heavy equipment, they pull drive shafts. I'm not getting under an RC car to disconnect a drive shaft just to hook that up. So bring that down, it'll back under, grab with just some hooks just like that around the axle housings. But there you go. Tow truck. So I need to smooth everything out in here so that this bolt doesn't get caught on the bottom or the top, or like, I just need to make a proper cradle for in here. But first time working, you can't really expect it to be absolutely perfect. Oh, it's so awesome. All right, well, it's starting to get dark out-ish. What we're gonna do is tomorrow, finish off this wheel lift, try to get something that can hook onto the axles properly. Once I get that done, then I say we get the motors in this thing and actually try to connect and disconnect from the Zacklift, and then pick up an RC car and tow it away. What is this? It was 70 degrees yesterday. California needs to make up its mind on weather. Good afternoon. And yes, afternoon, because now it's no longer raining out. And that's why I said earlier, California needs to make up its mind on weather. Anyhow, things have happened. Just trying to get everything dialed in and ready for driving with the Zacklift. Well, one of the motors burned up. Probably from me not wiring it correctly the first time I turned everything on, and it couldn't handle it. So it was most likely my fault. But what that means now is that it's a one motor truck. until I can afford to get another motor. I also redid the drive shafts so that the single motor, because of that weird transmission, the single motor now powers both of these axles and the front axle on just one motor. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it's what happened. So now let's try the whole Zacklift driving idea. Now, I'm not promising that this is going to be the smoothest thing. I've tried it a couple of times and it hasn't really worked out that well, so bear with me. So that's the first time all morning I've been able to do that in one shot. Because of course I'm going to practice. Now I'm going to devise some type of hook for the axle for what I will now call it the axle lift, not the wheel lift. Let me figure that out real quick and you'll see it in just a second. Alright, it's nothing fancy, but there's some hooks to go around some axles. As you see, I have two unwilling participants, and we're gonna try it. Had to cheat a little bit. Oh, I know what I need to do. Alright, attempt 2. Okay, there's that one. Guess it helps too if I ever need to work on it, just I've also just discovered that if I wanted to and didn't want to deal with axles, depending on which vehicle it is, give me a second, I can just pick them up by the bumpers. This thing is so awesome. I think we could also try to just be a bully. The reverse is really sensitive on this thing. Nah. And here's the best part that I just discovered I could do. Because the joys of it all being independent from each other, I can do stuff like that. It's going to take a lot of practice. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Got the Zacklift working. It did tow a truck, as you saw. So, next steps, realistically, other than having to buy a new motor for this thing, are finishing it. Still have a few more accessories to get for it, but the main important bit is I need to paint this thing. Need to take it all apart and weld everything first. And I actually need to grease the axles because I have not done that. I think for the next couple of videos, this thing will be not in the picture, mainly because I'm going to take my time and actually try to make this thing look really good. So probably going to use body filler, primer. It's going to take a while to paint this thing to make it look as nice as I want it to look. Same with the Zacklift, that's got to get painted as well. And everything has to be fine-tuned. And then I have to practice, as you saw me struggle a couple of times. I have to adjust everything. With a big custom build that has all this sorts of stuff on it, it's going to take a while to find the bugs, figure out what's wrong with it, and then fix it. And then learn how to drive it, because it's not your typical crawler. This will be kind of out and about, getting painted. I will be attempting to do it myself, but I will give you some pictures here and there throughout the next couple of videos just to show the progress that this thing is coming along. But don't worry, content will not stop, because we need to make a trailer for this, because the Zacklift, that's only one trick that this particular truck can do. So we're going to make at least one trailer, maybe two. All depends on how much work I want to do and how much room I have. Even though trailers are easy, it's just finding room for them. That will be the next video. We're going to start the first trailer that I have an idea for. There may be another trailer on the road as well, but this will get all taken apart and I'll keep you updated on it. Thank you all very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for subscribing. We do have a members area for $2.99 a month. Really helps the channel, especially since I just fried a motor and all the proceeds from the memberships goes right into these things, to fixing them, making them. That's how it all works. So thank you all very much, and we will see you next week.